3 months at Wat Lempeng Meditation Center. Most foreigners at the meditation center came for the first course of 10 days or the second course of 21 days. I stayed for 3 months. Many men and women who came gave up after a few days. My brother and mother went there last year, and my sibling gave up after just 3 days. Out of a group of 10 people, 3 of them had quit after a few days, including my brother. Nobody was being tortured, but it might feel that way for some people who were not able to cope with the solitude. It is an experience like no other, and you don't really know what to expect. If you think you're going to levitate and become enlightened after a few weeks, you are setting yourself up for disappointment. I remember seeing a guy almost running out of the meditation center. It was kind of odd and hilarious at the same time. For me, it was probably one of the best things, if not the best thing I did in my life. Let me describe a little bit of the routine. The first 3 days we were trained by one of the monks in charge of the newcomers. These 3 days were grueling and so exhausting. I did not shower for 3 days. I had to get used to sleeping 6 hours a night on a hard bed and wearing white clothes and hearing this fucking bell waking me up every day at 4 a.m. And plus, no solid food is allowed after noon. Then you are introduced to the walking and the sitting meditation. The practice is pretty easy and straightforward. You alternate between walking and sitting meditation. Many of you may not be familiar with the walking meditation practice. To be honest, I'm not a big fan of this practice, but when you go on a retreat, you need to do it because it is hard to stay on your ass for hours on end. Walking meditation is the Pilates of the Buddhist monastic world. I won't get into too many details, but walking meditation is pretty much the same as sitting meditation. The only difference is that you focus on the movements of your legs and feet instead of the rising and falling of your stomach, which is the sitting meditation. After the first 3 days, you're pretty much on your own. You got your wings now and you can start trying to fly. You have to report to the head monk every day except for the new moon and the full moon days. You wake around 4 a.m, breakfast is at 6:30, you meditate till breakfast, then return to your room. That's the time I would choose to take a shower, then get back to meditation once again. A lot of foreigners would sweep the compound to take a break from meditation and to gain merits karma, but I was told not to do so. My monk friend said that I was there to meditate and not to socialize and to sweep. After the shower, I meditated till lunch at around 10:30 a.m. After that, it was meditation till the reporting time around 5 p.m. and meditation till bedtime. Sounds pretty boring, right? On top of it all, as a meditator, you have to take 8 precepts before the retreat begins, which included the obvious: no killing, no stealing, no sexual misconduct, no lying, no intoxicants, and a few others that were not so obvious. No masturbation, no cosmetics, no sleeping on mattresses that were too comfortable, no music, TV or any form of entertainment, no reading, etc, etc, etc. Phones were not allowed in the rooms. You have to leave it with the monks for the duration of your stay, and we will have to wear white clothes. It's pretty much like a concentration camp, but a cool Zen one. One other thing which we were supposedly not allowed to do is socialize. I say supposedly because it was not really enforced. It's a Buddhist camp, not a Soviet camp. A lot of foreigners thought of the retreat as some kind of Club Med. During my time there, I slipped a few times, to be honest, but the monks reminded me not to talk and socialize, so finally I kept to my meditation. Once you get to the first week mark, the head monk will ask you to meditate at least 10 hours a day. This seems like really a lot, but it's not. It's the only thing you can do. After a few weeks, I was averaging 15 to 16 hours a day, easily. The longest I did in a day was 19 hours. My first months were pretty tough because I did not know how to let go, and the monks were playfully telling me to try to control my mental restlessness so I can see how it actually is impossible to control one's mind. After a month, the head monk told me to start letting go, and then I started to really being aware and seeing the power of meditation. After 3 weeks in the meditation center, you're sleeping about 4 hours a night and meditating around 16 to 18 hours a day. During this time, the monk will choose to send you to a period of time called indetermination. For 3 days and 3 nights, you stay in your room and you only meditate without any sleep. Food will be delivered to your room and you can only leave your room to report to the head monk and bring the dishes to the kitchen once a day. My first indetermination period, I slept 6 hours in 3 days. I could not do it without sleeping a little. I did it twice before I left the center and it was an amazing time. I turned 20 during one of the determination periods. Most get intoxicated with friends for their 20th birthday. I got blissed out of my mind. It's a different kind of experience, both enjoyable though. The latter leaves less of a hangover the next day. Now that I've shared a bit of my experiences, but not all. For your information, the meditation center where I went is called Wat Lempeng in Chiang Mai, Thailand. It's totally free. The only thing you need to pay is the candles and flowers for the opening and closing ceremonies. You can borrow clothes directly there. I wanted to share only part of my story because if you decide to go on a meditation retreat, you need to be open and not have any expectations. Your experience will be amazing in its own way. I would, however, recommend to stay as long as you possibly can to reap more of the benefits. Please comment, write down below your struggles and what subjects you want to learn about. Please help us make better content for you guys. Subscribe and click the bell button to be notified. Stay in touch with us. Videos come out every week. Don't miss them. Thanks a lot for your support. Get one or more of our ebooks. Some are free, some are almost free. Either way, you will benefit tremendously from them. Check the link in the description box below and don't forget to be inspired and inspire.